Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning. So today we will learn about function, which is in chapter 5. Okay, the objective for this chapter is, first one is to create a M file function, okay, using a single input and multiple input as well as output. Okay, and then to create a local function and nested function. So you also will learn about the variable scope. Okay, you have to understand between the difference between the base and the function workspace. Okay, so understand the variable scope and command window, script, main function and local function, and as well as toolbox to understand what is MATLAB toolbox and how to use it. So in chapter 2 we focus on this. Okay, in chapter 2 we focus on this, and chapter 3 we learn about how to create a variable array, okay, the operation, which is this one. And then in chapter 4 we learn about control flow, which consists of repetition as well as decision. Okay, so okay, so now we move on. After we complete this statement, chapter 2, 3, 4, now we move on to this one, which is chapter 5. Okay, so basically function is just input and output. Okay, so you learn about the coding. For example, you have something like this: for something, if something, if, and okay, so you have a code here. So you have a system, okay, a process. So your process inside here, you have input, you have output. Okay, for example here, remember the what it called, okay, the investment. Okay, remember the B. Okay, your output is B. Okay, your input is A, interest rate, and then number of year. So basically you create this. This is what a function is. Okay, another example is, okay, for example you have coal. Okay, this is for electrical generation system. Okay, you have a coal, you have a model of the power generation, and then you have the power of coal. Okay, so basically a function is that, okay, a group of code, okay, that you can call from the main program. Okay, you have another program here. Okay, you have a main program, something like that, for if, something like that. Then suddenly you want to call you want to create a you want to call a function. So basically you just call this function. Okay, call this, and it has output. Okay, it has input. So you send the input from this program to here. Okay, and then the output will be sent back to the main program. Okay, so basically why we want to do this, because for example if the function is used multiple times inside the main code, okay, so the code become very long, it's redundant. So you can just create a one function you can call at multiple places. That is why we create a function. Okay, so basically it is just a code that placed in another location, and we can call from the main program. Okay, so basically it's just easier to do this. Okay, we just call this function. Okay, so you learn about the program file. You create a M file, the script. Okay, so basically this script file can become two types: either script or function. So something like this: either it is a script file or function file. So previously you learned about to create a script file. Function file is basically you put a function inside there. Okay, So it is the same thing. It's also a mem file, but it is different because it is a function. Script is just a program. Okay. Usually we put the main program inside the script and we put function inside the function file. So we can call it inside the main program. Okay, inside this. So what is function? Of course, I mentioned before, it's just a program, okay, a program that can accept input and process it and produce output. Okay, why we use function? Okay, of course, I show you before it is reuse. Okay, of course, you can, if you want to call some coding again, so it just can call the function. It's much more neat. Okay, so also I mentioned it is much more cleaner. Okay, because you don't have to repeat multiple code if you want to call the same code again and again. Okay, and then maintainability, so easier for you to maintain the code. Okay, so you can also hiding implementation. So this is the theory. So you need to know why we make a function. Okay, this is for MATLAB. If you can see here, okay, remember how to create a new script? You just press a new script. Okay, you write something, for example, a equals to 2. Okay, yeah, my keyboard doesn't work. Okay, a is equals to 2, b equals to 3, c equals to 4. Okay, this is a script. Okay, you learned it before, so you save it. Okay, for example, you call it a. Okay, this is a script. Okay, but the function file is the same thing. Okay, you create a new, okay, you put here new script. Okay, okay, but instead of code like this, you have to start a main function is something like this. For example, function. So you have output 1, output 2. Okay, and then you have to call the name of the function. For example, I call this function is bbb. Okay, and then you need to have a input. So for example, input 1, input 2, input 3. Okay, you can use input, multiple input, or just a single input. Okay, and then you create the coding. Okay, a v equals to 3, c equals to 4, c is equal to 4. Okay, so this is function. So basically you have the code here, and then you have to make sure that you have the output equals to out1 equals to in multiply by in1 multiply, where is multiply by into. Okay, out3 out2 is equals to in3 multiply, okay, multiply by 2. Okay, something like this. So basically you create a function. Okay, you have the output 1 and output 2 here, output 1, okay, output 2, and you have an input. Okay, so in, so this is basically a function. So when you save this, okay, when you save this, okay, you have to make sure that the name here, you can see here, is same. Okay, bbb. Okay, if you put the name here bbb, make sure that the function is bbb. If you can see here, the icon change. This is the icon for script, and this is an icon for function. So that is the difference between script file and function file. Function file, you have this. Okay, script file you don't have. Then you can call the function. So for example, okay, I just copy this code back. Okay, in the main file or script file, I just call it. Okay, so this one doesn't need function. Okay, basically you can just call this automatically, it will call back this. Okay, call all this, you don't need to do this coding again, you just call it and you can use it. Okay, this is the difference. Okay, so for script, okay, script and function are the usage is both script and function allow you to reuse the sequence of commands stored in the program file. So basically you can save script and function. Okay, but for program file is fixed variable. But function is much more flexible because you can change input and output. So script is just a fix. Okay, and for script usually we don't have input and output, but function has input and output. Okay, so for workspace basically you're saving all your for script you save all the script the data in the base workspace, basically the main workspace. But for function, you will not see the data in the workspace. It's basically will save your function data inside the function workspace. So you cannot view the data, okay, inside the script. Okay. Okay. So function actually you have two types. Okay. The function I mentioned before is called mfile function. Okay. So basically you create yourself. This is accessible by the user. But the built-in function, okay, is different. This is basically function inside the MATLAB. You cannot access this. So basically, for example, you use RANDI, RANDI. So this is actually a function, but this is a function that has been created by MATLAB for you to use. Okay. So for function, that is also a function, but it is built-in. Okay. So this one cannot be accessed by the user. Okay. So mfile function, local function, nested function. This one is you need to know. Okay. For now, you just need to know this. Okay. So mfile function I mentioned before. Okay. And then for local function is basically inside the main script. Okay. You put the function below. Okay. Below the main function. Okay. And for else function, you don't need to know. Okay. You don't need to know for now. Okay. But for nested, I will show you after this. So we continue our study with the predefined MATLAB function. So basically, like I mentioned before, this is the function that is already included inside the MATLAB and you cannot access it. Okay, for example 5.1 and 5.2, I will show you how to use type. Okay, so type is basically I show you what is the function available. Okay, what is inside the function. Okay, so for example 5.1 you can type sin, means that sin is the built-in function, sin cos tan. Okay, so it will show that sin is this one. For example 5.2 you can type sphere. Okay, basically when you type type sphere a function, it will show you how the function work. Okay, so it will explain how the code of this function available inside the MATLAB. So you can study it to better understand yourself. Okay, so try to do this coding for the tutorial and don't forget to submit it to me. Okay, so before we continue, slide in your attendance. Okay, you can pause the video to scan the the QR code. Okay, next we will learn about the user-defined function. It's basically the function that you created. Okay, I show you in the video before. Okay, you have to write function, output equals to the name of the function, open bracket, and then show the input. So this is means by the user-defined function. Okay, as I mentioned before, the user-defined function is saved inside the M file, separate M file. So at the top you have to write function. Okay, the separate M file you need to write at the top function, the output variable, the name of the variable, and the input of the variable. Okay, make sure you write this this, and this. Okay, it is in separate M file. Okay, so then once created is available, okay, this function is available for the command window and MATLAB script. Okay, you can use command window to call back this function, or you can use a script, okay, script file. Okay, and to use them, they must be in the current directory. So this is important. You have to make sure that your directory is the current one. Okay, I will show you after this. Okay. Okay, what it mean by the current directory? You can see here at the top here there are address. Okay, and make sure you save this. For example, like I showed before, you create a BBB function. Okay, you have to put the function inside the current. Okay, right now I saving the file of BBB inside the desktop. So make sure you have to set this address as a desktop. So for example here, open. Okay, for example, you save your file inside the desktop, just press desktop. Or other places you press other places. If not, you cannot call the function. Okay, for example, if I go to download, okay, so the function is gone. You can see here the current folder, there is no function BBB. That's why you have to find that function, and you have to run the current file, okay, current folder inside this here. Okay, without that you cannot call the function. Okay, I also mentioned that you need to make sure that the name of the function is same as the name of the file. Okay, something like this. Okay, remember, so if you name your functions poly, make sure the file, okay, the function file, the M file needs to be poly also. Okay, if not, function cannot work. Okay, and other thing is the input argument needs to be written inside the bracket. Okay, the bracket is something like this, and the output argument will be written before the equal. Okay, this one, and you have to use the square bracket. Okay, so make sure you know the difference. Okay, and so function and then input equals to name of the function and then input. Okay, before that is output, sorry. Okay, so this is important to ensure that the function work properly. So you can try inside your MATLAB. Okay, this is a example 5.3. This is a tutorial. You can try anything. Okay, try to create this. Okay. Okay, so next example is the command line. So I showed before that you can use percentage to write any command for your function or script. Okay, so just put percentage, it will put the comment. So basically it is easier for you to recall back what you have right. Okay, it will not be processed by the MATLAB, but it will be helpful for you to read. It's just a comment. Okay, and also if you create a function here and you write help g inside the command window, okay, so you can show this the comment. Okay, okay, let us test example 5.4. Okay, you can see here you can just copy and the code and paste inside the BBB I made before. Okay, okay, and then save. Okay, remember that the problem is you need to have the same name with the file, so that's why it will become red here. Okay, the function name g is known by MATLAB by BBB, so you have to fix this. Okay, try to fix this. Okay, either you change it g, okay, and then you save it, and you have to rename the file g also. Okay, make sure the name needs to be the same. Okay, the name of the function here as well as the name of the function, the file. Okay, and this is the comment. Okay, when you put a comment, it automatically goes to green. Okay, green is not processed by the MATLAB. Okay, so let me clear this first. Okay, so for example, if you want to know what is the help available inside your function, you just write help g. Okay, g is the function here, the name of the function. Okay, it will show the comment. Okay, for example, I write another comment. Okay, something like this. If I write this back, okay, don't forget to save. Okay, the function is not saved, it will we run the previous version. Okay, so again help g, so you can see that it will produce the output. Okay, this is just a help for the function. Okay, just to explain what is the what the function does. Okay, usually you have it's not must, but better you write it. Okay, to explain the function. Okay, now for example 5.5, okay, for example 5.4, you create the function. Okay, right now in example 5.5, you call back the function. So you already create this function inside the M file. Okay, inside one M file, M file 1. Okay, you call it g.m. Okay, now you create a separate file. Okay, you can see here, this is a separate file. Okay, you create an input. Okay, this is the input, this is the input. Okay, input A, input B, and you call back the function. Okay, so for this file you can rename it anything. Okay, as a result it will produce the output. Okay, so don't forget, when you want to separate different input or output, you have to use comma. Okay, so let us see the result. Okay, let me clear first. Okay, so you can see here you already create the g file, g.m file. Okay, from example 4. Right now you want to run in the main program, so AAA is the main program. So you want to call back this. Okay, so basically for AAA, okay, AAA, you just write what is the value of ABC, AB. Okay, something like this. Okay, and make sure you remove this. Okay, okay, and then you can, okay, easiest way is just go to C and copy this. Okay, okay, so copy this. Okay, the function, but you can see that this one you can change it. Okay, you have to change it according to the main program. So A, this one is B. Okay, because you want to multiply A and B. And the output, of course, you don't want to produce output, you just want to be the output to be C. As long as you follow this, you can get the answer. So if you run this, you get the answer. Okay, this is in the main program and how to call the main function, the function. Okay, inside the main program or script file. Or if you don't want to use a script file, you can just also run it inside the command window. Okay, just click here, enter, you also get the same answer, as long as the function file is inside the current directory. Okay, if not, you cannot. For example, if I go out, okay, if I run this, okay, it will prompt me to change the folder. Okay, it's okay, just cancel first. Okay, okay, for example here, okay, you run here, change folder, you have to change folder. Okay, but if you run in the command window, for example, I change the folder location, I run this, it will produce error because it not find G function inside this location. Okay, okay, but it exists in this location. Okay, so you have to change the location. Okay, this is important when it comes to MATLAB. When it comes to MATLAB function. So remember that for G function you create before, okay, it has two input. two input. But this one only have one input. So it means that it doesn't have enough input argument. So it will produce error. Okay. So basically, you have to make sure that the input is enough. Okay, not too much, not too little. If the input is 2, you have to produce, you put 2 input. Okay, if you want to create a flexible input or function that can accept any number of input argument, you can use a var region, okay, or null region. Okay, but for these courses, you will not learn about this. Okay, so you don't need to learn about this. Okay. Okay, but if you want to learn about this, you can use MATLAB documentation, but it will not be covered inside these courses. Okay, now we move on to the next example, which is multiple output. Okay, you can see here the input is only 1, okay, which is time. But for output, you have 3. Okay, this is the output, you have 3 output. And make sure you use the square bracket. Okay, for input, you use the normal bracket. Okay, for output, you use the square bracket, and of course, you separate it using comma. Okay, so this is how you write a function with multiple output. Okay, of course, you put a function here to explain the function, and then you have to input the formula. Okay, and this is how you call that function. Okay, so make sure you know how to write the multiple output. Okay, now let we try this. Okay, you just close this. Okay. Okay. So create a new script, and then you copy the function. Okay. Paste it. Okay. So save it and make sure the name needs to be the same as the name of the function. Okay. This is the name of the function, so the name of the file needs to be follow. Okay. So how to call this function is basically copy this. Easiest way, just copy this. Okay, and time maybe you can try at 5 seconds. So you will get the answer. Okay, you just call back the function. Okay, the distance, the velocity, the acceleration. Okay. So or you can use another function to call this. Okay. For example here, press here. This is t. Okay. And for example, you want to use okay, for function I until okay, for function is 0.1 until 10, for example, 0.1 second until 10 second, and of course this is t equals to something like this. Okay, and you need to save everything. Okay, and start with 1. Okay, and then this one is n. Okay, you want to save everything, and of course you don't want to see everything. You put the semicolon. Okay, and then okay, you run this, save it. Okay, okay, I call this hash hash hash. Okay, so if I run this, oh, I forget to increase the n equals to n plus 1. Okay, so if I run this, okay, I will get the data. For example, the acceleration, distance, velocity, and acceleration at different time. So if I go to plot, I can plot this. Okay. it will produce something like this. Okay, the distance. How about the acceleration? Okay, the acceleration increases. Okay, so something like this. This is why you create a function, so you can run multiple times. Okay, another way to run this. Okay, so let us save this first. Okay. Okay, we move on to the output flexibility. Okay, remember that the input, okay, when you use input, you have to make sure that the input is enough. Cannot be more, cannot be less. Okay, but for the output, it can be flexible. Okay, if you can see here, okay, this one is time. Okay, for example here. Okay, so of course you can you don't have to use t. Okay, okay, you don't have to use for function. Before this, I show you. You have to use for function. For also you can use this one. Okay, vector of t. Okay, you create a vector of t. You just insert the vector and automatically the formula can run it. Okay, so you can use something like this. It will create this. And for flexible output, you can see here the output should be 3, right? So it should be 3, but right now you just put 1. Okay, what it means that it will call back the first variable. Okay, the left, the most left. Okay, if you put 2, okay, it will start from the first left, second left, and the third left is just ignore. Okay, this is the flexible output. Okay, if you look back the formula, you can see that this is a dot function. Okay, the function is dot, so you can just use directly. Instead of using for, you can just use this one. Okay, no need to do some modification like this. Okay, just use it directly. Okay, okay, if you run this, okay, you will should get answer. Okay, let me check first. Oh, the end. Don't forget to delete this. Okay, so you will get the answer. Let me delete this. Okay, you get the answer. Okay, this is multiple. So flexible means that, for example, you have you want the distance. Okay, you don't want anything else. You just need a distance. So you just, okay, just this one, enter. Okay, this one is, okay, for example, you just need this, so you run this. Okay, you get the answer. For example, you want the distance and velocity, so of course you have to put this square bracket. Okay, and then velocity, so LAJ, okay, close bracket. Okay, so you will produce two output. Okay, the jar and the large. Okay, so make sure you start from left to right. Okay, left first. But if you want the from the right, that cannot be done. Okay. Okay. So I mentioned before that if you want to only want the output 3, you cannot do that. So you have to make sure that you produce all output. You cannot just skip. Okay, you have to produce output 1 or output 1, output 2, or output 1, output 0, output 3. Okay, so you cannot skip. Okay, make sure you know the difference. Okay, if you want output 3, you have to produce all output. Okay, how about function without input and output? So there are two ways you can do this. Either you just put empty bracket, something like this, square bracket and bracket, or you just write the name. No need to write this. Okay, no need to equals to. Okay, okay, this one is usually if you don't want have any input and output, just display something, for example something like this. Okay, asterisk is this one. So characteristic absolute, okay, this one multiplied by this is just once for one row for 10 column. Okay, so basically just to create this. Okay, so for this case you just call the function, nothing else. Okay, no input, no output. You can also do that. So you can try in your MATLAB, okay, for both function. Okay, now we move on to the local function. So what is local function? So local function, as you can see before, you have script file and function file. So basically function file is at the separate file. Okay, you have script file and function file. But if you use local function, means that your function is placed inside this script file. Okay, so basically instead of two files like this, one script, one function, all of your file is here. This one is your main function, main script. Okay, your main program, and you place the function at the bottom. Okay, you write function, and then you write another function here, something like this. Okay, so the program will run this. Okay, the program will run the main program. Okay, when you run this script, it will run the main program, not the function. Okay, but the function will be called inside the main program if it is used. Okay, so what it means by the local function. Okay, so previously you learned about the local function. So basically, okay, for example, this is a program script. Okay, so you have a local function here. Okay, at the bottom, local function that can be used by the local program. So this is the main program. Okay, this is main program. So you can call back the local function here. Okay, so but sometimes the main program can be also a function. Okay, this is okay, so you have a function here. Okay, something like this. Okay, you write something. Okay, and then there is another function here, function, and then function. Okay, this is considered also a local function. Okay, and this one, the first function is the main function. Okay, the main function can be called by the main program. Okay, as long as it is at the bottom, it is called a local function. This one is also local function. Okay, local function can be multiple function. Okay, it doesn't consider okay, local function is basically multiple, any function at the second or third. Okay, if there is no function at the top, okay, it is the main program. If it is the function at the top, it is the main function. So try to make sure you know the difference. Okay, so local function is the at the bottom. Okay, okay, so this is what I mentioned before. Okay, so if you have a local function inside the function file, okay, this is for function file. Okay, and there is also the main file. Okay, for function file, the first function is the main function. Okay, as I mentioned before at the second part, okay, you have a main function, and this is considered as local function. Okay, so this is the main function. So you have to know what is the difference between main function and local function. Okay, you also need to know what is the difference between main function and local function. Okay, in this term, okay, for script file it doesn't exist, but for local function is created after the last line of the script code. So the location. And for function file, okay, for function file is the first function. Okay, this one is the additional function. Okay, for accessibility, okay, the main function here, okay, can be accessed by the other file or common window, but local function at the bottom cannot be accessed. Okay, only the main function can access local function. And the function name, okay, this name needs to be unique. Okay, the file name needs to be the same as the function name. Okay, but for local function, you have to be unique inside the function, main function only. Okay, unique within the function file. Okay, no need to consider other. Okay, so try to memorize this. Okay, let us look at example 5.12. You can see here, okay, you can see that this is the main function. Okay, this is the main function, and this is, okay, there are two local function. Okay, so basically the main function will call the local function. So it call add, which is this one, and minus, which is this one. Okay, so this is how the function work, and this is the main function which have the output that can be called by MATLAB, either other script or other function. Okay, it's called compute, or others and can be called at the common windows. Okay, call window. Okay, let us test the example 5.12. So start a new script. Okay, and then you can copy this. Okay, don't forget to save this file as the same file name. Okay, function name. Okay, so compute, and then so you can see here, this is the local function which is at the second bottom, the bottom side. Okay, this is the main function, so you can call it to the outside. Okay, you can call it through common windows, okay, or other script. So I want to call this. Okay, let me call this. Okay, if I call this function compute, which has the input x is 2, y is 3, and then I have the result here, plus and minus, it will produce this. Okay, so you can change the input and the output, okay, the name, okay, as long as the name of the function is the same. So last time I show you a local function, which means that you have function here, function, okay, main function. Okay, right. Okay, you call the local function at the bottom, local function. So at the bottom, so your main program is all here. You call here. Okay, something, you will call this local function. But for nested function, okay, now we'll move on to the nested function. It's basically a function, the main function and the local function is placed inside the main function. Example here, something like this. We have function, okay, and then you write, and then you have a function. Okay, it's still not finished. Okay, and then you write again, and you have function. Okay, and then you write again the program. So basically, it is a nested function. For this case, you have to put n. Okay, you have write the function, you have to put n. Write the function and put n. Okay, that is the nested function. It is a function within the function. Okay, so this is an example of the nested function. So basically, you can see here, this is the function here. okay, and the function end here. Okay, so basically there is a function inside the function. So the advantage is, okay, the workspace is shared. Okay, you don't have to insert the D. Okay, you already insert the D here. Okay, there is no need to put D here. Okay, there is no need to define the D. Okay, because it's in the same workspace. Okay, so no need to define D. So it is easier for you. Okay, but the problem, if you use this, you have to put N. Okay, and where is the function is called here. Okay, so AR. Okay, you call AR the area. So and then you print the area. Okay, so you can try this, and then you at the common window you write this and you will get the answer. Okay, for 2 and 3. Okay, so see this is a, okay, this is for D. So D is equals to 2 square 3. Okay, so make sure you understand this. Okay, the advantage is that it has the same workspace, so you don't need to define it again. Okay, and of course you have to put N for nested function. Okay, so let us try example 5.12. So create a new script, of course paste the coding. Okay, save it. Okay, of course you have to make sure that the name is the same as the name of the function. Okay, so you have this function. You can see that this is within the main function. Okay, this is the nested function, and of course you don't have to define D, okay, inside the input, because we will share the same workspace. Okay, so that is the advantages. So if I call this, okay, I call this function inside the common window. Okay, I enter this, I will get the answer. So it calculates this and then it calls this. Okay, call CI. Okay, remember, if the function has no input, we just write something like this. Okay, no need to put this, or you want to put this one also can, it also can run it. Okay, see, the same thing. Okay, but it is not compulsory if you don't have input. Okay, okay, now we move on to the variable scope. So basically the scope of a variable that can be seen. Okay, so you can see this, there are base and function workspace. Sorry, if you recall back what is workspace, workspace is just a place to see the variable and the data. Okay, if you look back the video I show you for my MATLAB, my workspace is at the right side. Okay, so base workspace is storing variable you can create in the command line. Okay, any variable create in script. So basically the workspace that you currently use. But there is a function workspace. Okay, okay, function workspace do not use the base workspace. Okay, every function has its own workspace. Okay, basically if you call the function, okay, the data inside the function will not produce inside the workspace. Okay, it will create a new workspace. Okay, a data saving place for the function itself. Okay, like I said before, here, separate from the base workspace. Okay, so the function is to protect the integrity of the data. Okay, so variables specific to the function workspace are called the local variable. Okay, so local variable are not known to other function. Okay, it's only local to the function. This is global function. Okay, a global variable. So basically all can access the variable, but for function workspace it is a local variable, so it cannot be used by other function, other script, other common window. Okay, and they are not shown in the workspace. Okay, so basically you have two separate, okay, data saving location. Okay, and this inside here is a local variable, and this one is the global variable. Okay, global variable also, okay, for this class it is called a base variable. Okay, so try to use the base variable instead of global variable. Okay, use this one. So local variable, okay, you can see here local variable only available inside the function file. Okay, okay, base is all. Okay, so see, try to look at here. Okay, let us see example 5.13. Okay, to see the different workspace. Okay, so here you can see the function, result, and distance. The function is called distance. You have time, you have output is the result, and this is the formula. So you can see here, G is here, this is here, and here is here. Okay, all of these, okay, G is needed in the function, but G is placed at here, at the common window. So if you run this, it will be error because the base, okay, the base variable is not shared. Okay, the base workspace is not shared with the function workspace. Okay, let us show the look at this example. Okay, so I have to create another function which is distance function. Okay, I press this. Okay, okay, you can see here t is the input. Okay, so t is the input, g is unknown. Okay, okay, you have, of course you have to save the function first, if not you cannot call it. Okay, so clear this. Okay, you can see here g is unknown inside the function. So let's say I said that g is equals 9.8 and t is, of course, from 0.1 step until 1 second. Okay, and I want to call the function here. So the function I want to be a is equals to the function code, which is this one. Okay, the function name. Okay, and the input is t. Okay, so right now I have g inside the base. This is called a base workspace, but right now inside the function there is no g. So if I run this, g is unknown inside the main function because it cannot be transferred inside the function because the workspace is different. To do this, you need to copy this, okay, and place inside here. Then you can run this. Okay, let me, of course you have to save it first. Okay, then you can get the output. Okay, that is mean by the workspace. Okay, the workspace or the place that you put the data is not same for the main program and the function. Okay, that's why it has input and that's why it has output, because the workspace is different. Why this is done? Because to avoid confusion. Okay, okay, for example, in real life function has many variable, okay, and the main program has many variable. So if you put everything inside the same place, the variable can clash. For example, in the main program you write x, okay, you write x, okay, equal to something, and then there you also use another x also equal to something, so you repeated the same variable, so it can cause error. That's why you create a function, so you can create a same variable but with different workspace. Okay, so it will not clash. Okay, so next is the passing argument. Okay, so what is passing argument? So you can see here, okay, you have a function, okay, you have average and median, and the name of the function is mystat, and the input is x. Okay, so the length of x means that you have the data, for example 1 2 3 4 5, for example x is equal to 5. Okay, so the length of the data you have to calculate 1 2 3 4 5. So basically n is equals to 5, something like that. So that is mean by the length. Okay, then average is equals to my mean. Okay, this is a function. So where is my mean? So this is my mean, and median is my median. Okay, so this one. What it means when passing argument is that, okay, for example here, for example function my mean, the output is a, but you replace it with average, avg, and for this case my median, okay, your output is m, but you call it back med. Okay, so that it means by passing argument. Okay, same as here. Okay, if you look here, your input for my mean is x and n. Okay, so you maintain the n, but x become v, x become v. So it's okay as long as you know the position of the input. So for here you use x, okay, the input is x, and then when you transfer to my mean you use v. As long as inside the function you use the same input v, is okay. So that is mean by passing argument. Okay, you can try running this program using MATLAB. Okay, so of course you know what is median. Okay, mean, sum of number divided by number, how many number is it. Okay, median, of course, the center of the number. So you have to sort first. Okay, the function of sort is sort. So it will sort the number. Okay, v means x. Sort the number x. And then if you have remainder, you use different formula. If not have remainder, okay, you don't have remainder, okay, you use this formula. Okay, remember you have, if you have 4 data, okay, 4 data, you will use this formula. 5 data, you have extra 1, right? So use this formula. Okay, try to understand how the function works. But the important thing is the passing of argument. So basically you change the parameter, okay, the variable. Okay, for first variable is x, and goes to inside the function, it will become v. Okay, and for the output you can see here the output is m and a, but change to avg and mean. Okay, this is the continuity of example 5.14. So this one is just generate random data from 1 to 100. Okay, from 1 to 100 with 1 row and 200 column. Okay, so this data here insert into here. Remember that my start has x, right, instead of data. Okay, but it's okay. That is mean by passing argument. You don't have to use the same argument with the function. If the function use x, as long as inside the function using x, is okay. But outside the function, you can replace with anything. Okay, you just transfer, passing the argument. Okay, and remember that a and b is actually the originally inside the mystat function is the avg and med. But for the main function here, this case common window, it use a and b, so it will follow a and b. That is mean by passing argument. Okay, as long as the location is correct, it will follow the new location. It will follow the new variable. Okay, nested function is a little bit tricky. Remember that I said when you call the function here, the R and D is accessible for both of these nested function. That is the advantage of using nested function. You don't have to put the input. Okay, that is this one explained by this one. Okay, so the function is unique. Okay, basically, if you already use R here, you cannot use R in here for a different thing. Okay, because it share the same. Okay, it share the same workspace. Okay, the place where save the data, but the output is unique. Okay, you see here C and C. Okay, when you do programming, you cannot use the same variable for different thing. Okay, but this case for variable for the output is okay for nested loop, nested function. Why? Because if you call the function back, you have to be replaced with the new variable. Okay, so you can use the same thing. It's okay because it will be replaced by others. Okay, others variable. So you can try again this function, and to call it you have to use this. Remember, this is not two input. This is one input because you use square bracket. Okay, square bracket means that it's inside one input. Okay. Okay. This one is common. Okay, if you put common inside the win function, it doesn't give any. Okay, it doesn't go anywhere. Okay, for example, if you write inside the common, the common whos inside the function. Okay, if you in the main function, it will show whos, what is the variable. Okay, variable function. Oh, save. What is the variable is save or clear down what is the variable. But in the function, this doesn't produce any function. Okay, so you have to create a different function. So we move on to the last part, which is toolbox. Okay, it is a function that already available inside the MATLAB. Okay. So what is toolbox? Of course, as mentioned before, toolbox is a collection of following, okay, or function inside a package. For example, the MATLAB function, system object, Simulink, also a toolbox. Okay. Example, documentation, data, and apps. Okay, toolbox can be added inside the MATLAB. Okay, you can get it from these sources. Okay, if you use the student version, maybe some of the toolbox is not available. But if you use professional, most of the toolbox is available. So if you want to create your own toolbox, okay, for example, you create your own function and you want to use it more than once, okay, you can group into a directory and add it into the MATLAB search path. Okay, so how to do this? You can, okay, for example, here, package the function in the MATLAB toolbox, which is given by this file, and it is installed inside the MATLAB toolbox. Okay, and this toolbox can be shared easily, okay, because it is a file, and you can also show this inside the MATLAB exchange file. If you have any, okay, if you have any simulation or something, you can place it in the file exchange. Okay, MATLAB file exchange is basically a forum for MATLAB. Okay, you can get any simulation inside there. Okay, so how to create a toolbox? Okay, you go to environment, home tab, package toolbox, and add-on menu. So you can just add the button and then finish it. Okay, so this is just info for you on how to obtain the toolbox for MATLAB. Okay, congratulations, you have finished chapter 5. So chapter 5 is just a short chapter. So what you have learned today is that you learn about the function. Okay, So what is function, what is script file and function file, how to create it, okay, why the reason why you want to create that, okay, the difference between the function and script, okay, and then you know about the predefined MATLAB function, okay, sine, cos, something like that. Already the function already available inside the MATLAB, okay, and then you learn about the user defined function, okay, the user defined function it means that you create your own function using M file, okay, and then you learn about creating the function with a single input and multiple input or output, okay, and then how to handle the input and how to handle the output, okay, how to be flexible with the output, okay, what happen if you want to create a function with no input and no output, okay, and then you understand about the local function inside the script or inside the function itself, okay, it's also known as a sub function, okay, and then you learn about the difference between that, okay, and then you learn about the nested function, okay, what is nested function, okay, and then you learn about the workspace, okay, base workspace, what is the difference between base workspace and the function workspace, okay, and how to passing the argument, okay, basically passing the variable, okay, and then you learn about the toolbox, okay. So that's all for today, and make sure you check in or slide in your attendance, okay. Have a good day, and make sure next week you have a quiz, okay. You have quiz from chapter 1 to chapter 3. You can answer it is in e-learning, okay, and you have 4 days to complete it, and when you press it you have 30 minutes to complete the quiz, and you can have only one attempt, okay. That's all. Thank you.